Previously on the Lupe and Royce show.
Mwah! Ooh, that shit is fire. But anyway,
I don't know what that means. You got to break it down for me. So break it down further, man.
So it's when WHEN, winter, my she. So simmer, I be to fur. Right? And so it's when my girl is cold, I'm gonna be warm for her. Right? So I'm gonna bring her warmth when she's cold.
Quadruple entendre.
So when am I she simmer I be to fur. So fur, F-U-R, fur. Ooh, that shit is fire! The Lupe and Royce show is a Say What Media production. This is Lupe Fiasco, and I am into anime.
And this is Royce the 5'9", and when I ask my friends questions, they answer me in strange ways.
And this is Tom Frank, and I have a very slow internet connection today, but I'm going to battle through it. And you're listening to the Lupe and Royce show. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, welcome back.
Man, you got to give me the anime crash course at some point, man.
Welcome back to the Lupe and Royce show. I mean, you have you ever watched Voltron?
Yep.
Transformers?
Yeah.
That's all anime. It's all Japanese anime.
So it just what makes it anime? The fact that it's Japanese?
Yeah, and anime is animation. Specific styles of Japanese animation. Normally it's overdubbed in English. Sometimes they have subtitles, but a few of the cartoons that we rock with as kids, so like Transformers, Voltron, it was actually called Go Lion in Japan, I think. And I actually think Transformers was called something else too in Japan. But anyway, they bring these shows over to the States and elsewhere. Europe, South America. I don't know if you remember Robotech. Mm-hmm. Robotech was I
don't remember Robotech.
Kind of like a space-based, almost like a animation of like Star Trek and Star Wars or something like that.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
So Robotech was the same way. It was a Japanese-produced set of animations that they brought over, exported from Japan all over the world. And so there's like Spanish versions. There's a couple shows that are like really big in Mexico. But anyway, Transformers and Voltron are probably the one that people will recognize the most that will be considered anime. We just think of them as Saturday morning cartoons, but they actually fit in Japanese anime. They're just overdubbed into English. And so a majority of the anime that you see, like Dragon Ball Z, which is probably the most famous here, is the same way. It's something that started in Japan. They brought it over to the States, overdubbed it into English, maybe changed some things to make it maybe not, but definitely changed some things so it fits to the American audience. And then you get Dragon Ball Z. It's actually a company called Funimation down in Texas that actually is responsible for bringing Dragon Ball Z into the States and a bunch of other kind of titles too. So it's a big thing. Where are you trying to start? I mean, you're already in it. If you saw Voltron and you saw Transformers, you're already an anime head.
I mean, just stepping into it, I think I should make a confession, because I always like to lead with respect. I never want to come in and just be disrespectful to, people who are, avid followers of something. I was a Gobots Tranzor Z kid.
I remember Gobots.
You don't remember Tranzor Z?
I don't remember Tranzor Z.
Tranzor Z.
Hold on, let me see. I could tell you off top if it was an anime.
I don't remember any of this.
You don't remember Tranzor Z, Tom?
Tranzor Z?
No.
Hold on, it just came up. Let me see.
The only thing I can even remotely think that is in this same category, with Pokemon, the original, is that considered that?
Yeah, it's considered anime. Yeah, so Tranzor Z. Wow, Royce, you actually deeper into the anime space than you think you're not.
Yeah, Gobots and Tranzor Z was my shit.
So Tranzor Z was an anime called Mazinger Z. And Mazinger Z was huge in Japan, like huge. It's still huge to this day. It's actually one of my favorites, Mazinger Z. And there's different versions of it. But yeah, Tranzor Z is Mazinger Z. It's just, I guess Tranzor would be what it was localized in the States, but it's called Mazinger. Yeah, man. So you're already there. You already an anime head.
Tranzor Z. I mean, you know, I haven't. It's been a long time. I'm rusty. You know, I haven't watched it since I was a kid. So I'll see where I'm at one of these days.
What made you bring this up?
Of course,
Royce?
we still got G.I. Joe and He-Man, huh?
What made you bring this up?
I don't know, man. Anime just been crossing. It's been crossing my desk a lot lately, and like a lot of people that I know that I'm friends with, like different kinds of people, all share the same enjoyment for it, and it's. I'm wondering what is it about it that makes it like the equalizer, like the fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's like the median point between all of these different kinds of people. Yeah, man, you know, I really love anime because I thought it was like some nerdy shit, but then it's like some straight up street dudes. Yeah, I like following along with the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, all right, well maybe it's not what I thought it was, and then now Lupe is telling me it's the shit that I used to watch when I was a kid. So I'm wondering what is it that my man Shiloh watches now as an adult that he follows along with the storyline? Because I can't sit through a cartoon. I don't think I can. I don't know. But then he don't write raps or obsess over things. Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he had I don't know if he had an everything bagel. I don't know.
Tom, did you watch cartoons?
I couldn't tell you
as a kid.
I did. I watched what did I watch? I watched like the superhero stuff. Oh, you know which one I liked. What was it called? The one that had all the superheroes in one place. Superman, Wonder Woman.
What, Justice League?
Batman, the Justice League. That's what I liked.
You know what? I'm trying to figure out. When would you have been watching cartoons? What year?
Probably the late 70s.
All right. Do you remember Speed Racer?
Oh, I do remember Speed Racer.
So Speed Racer is anime.
That would be.
Speed Racer's fire.
Speed Racer's anime.
Yeah,
that's Japanese imported into America.
Oh, I totally remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one I used to watch. Tom, I bet you the type of kid that when you play the video game, you make a creative player and you give them all 99 everything, and then you just dominate. You one of those guys?
You know what? I didn't play video games very much when I was a kid. We didn't have video games. You know what I had? I remember my parents bought me a Texas Instrument. Do you remember a Texas Instrument? Like, we didn't even have Atari or anything. We had a Texas Instrument. We played pole position.
Yeah, I may have seen one around the house from time to time. None of my business though.
Nah, we never did. We never really played video games growing up. Now my kids play them all the time.
So you just played with algebra, huh?
I was outside, throwing the basketball up, throwing the football around, hitting the baseball. That's all we did. You mentioned that's something that came across your desk more recently. I'll tell you what's been coming across my desk lately. I got something for you. I got another picture that was sent in of Royce that I'm telling you, our listeners have pictures of you out there. Why is it always a picture of me, man? Let me show you this one.
Lupe takes pictures.
This one, I guess, is, you mentioned you
Now, what did I do wrong here?
I don't think you did anything wrong, but it's a picture.
Pretending like I can read.
It's a picture with your collection of skulls in it. These listeners pick up. Where do you think this was taken? Do you remember?
You know what happened right there? You know what happened right there? I hit Lupe and asked him for a verse, and he sent me that.
No, that looks like a young Royce.
He sent me that while I was writing. He sent me that while I was writing my verse.
That looks like a young Royce, decades ago.
That does look like
even.
Are you writing a rap?
It was probably 8 years ago, maybe a little less.
8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you were, but there were skulls all around you.
I hit Lupe up. I was like, yo, man, let's do this joint, man. I got this joint. He was like, all right, cool. Send it over. And he sent me back that skull while I was writing my verse. I bet you y'all never heard of Remo Williams.
Remo Williams.
I bet you don't know who Remo Williams is.
I have no idea who that is.
You ever heard of the most interesting man in the universe?
No. I've heard of the most interesting man in the world.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Same thing. That guy.
Okay.
Remo Williams was him before he was himself. Look up Remo Williams, bro.
I looked him up right now.
I remember Remo Williams, the movie.
Tell me he wasn't the baddest. He wasn't the baddest motherfucker for no reason. Like, what is he so fucking bad for? I don't even know who he is.
The movie Remo Williams,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
And we had that on beta.
He was like Liam Neeson before Liam Neeson.
What year
He
was
was
that
like-
movie?
Yo, so check it out.
1985.
Remo Williams was the shit. Did y'all watch The Greatest American Hero?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that was the dude who was a superhero but didn't know exactly how to harness his skills.
Mm-hmm. Don't you hate when that happens?
He was flying all weird and would run into stuff and didn't know exactly how to be a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good show.
Much like myself.
Much like you.
Now, what about Mork and Mindy?
Oh,
Nanu
God.
Nanu. My
know
brother
what
used to bully me and make me watch that.
Now, on Mork and Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't there a dude who was he was aging backwards? Like they had a kid and he aged backwards. You know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember the storyline.
On Mork and
On
Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
All I remember is Nanu Nanu.
I just remember this big.
I remember the egg.
Yeah, but when that what?
Oh yeah, there was an egg.
Now I'm
Why was there an egg?
Mork and Mindy. That was a weird show.
Yeah,
That's
now
how he
that you
came
put-
out of, like the big egg, right?
Now that you put it like that, yeah.
No, I think the guy who was aging backwards came out of the egg.
I thought Mork came out the egg.
No, it was what was his name? He was a pretty famous
Nanu Nanu.
Jonathan Winters is the guy who came out of the egg. And he aged backwards. He came out old and he was slowly getting younger.
That's like me.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
That's like me.
Also like you?
I don't remember that. I remember Alf.
Oh!
And like
I love Alf.
Small Wonder, Alf, Perfect Strangers, Three's Company,
Mm-hmm.
and 227.
Three's Company was
Amen.
a fucking amazing show, I tell you.
Three's
That was an
Company
amazing show.
Three's Company?
Yes. That was a great show. I love Three's Company.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my boy Jack Tripper to get laid, man. He just couldn't figure it out.
All right, let me ask you guys a question. You're saying all these shows, right? And I never actually thought about this, but all these shows are literally a bunch of white people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes, much like you, Tom.
no, I know, but I'm saying nowadays, I mean, I guess it was just a different time. Like you just didn't. I guess what I was trying to ask was like I'm sitting around thinking I watch those shows, but did you guys watch those shows?
Absolutely. I still watch white people. I just watch them storm the Capitol building these days. But I love watching them. I love. And don't take this the wrong way, Tom, but there's a certain humor that I call white humor only to myself. I don't say this publicly. I don't refer to it as white humor publicly because that would be inappropriate. But there's a certain like sarcasm with the humor with white guys, like comedians, especially like sitcom stars and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hilarious to me, man. Hilarious. I wasn't like a big Seinfeld guy, but I'm like a Will Ferrell stan, man. Will Ferrell is like one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life.
Totally agree.
I would quit this show to go hang out with Will Ferrell. I would leave Lupe Fiasco mid-verse by doing a song to go hang out with Will Ferrell and possibly relapse. Have a drink.
So you're
Will Ferrell's
putting Will Ferrell all the way up.
I love Will Ferrell.
I think I still put...
Does that surprise you, Tom?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I can see you liking his humor.
He's hilarious, man.
He is hilarious. He's made a lot of good movies.
Classics.
What's your favorite? I think I know the answer to this.
I gotta go Step Brothers.
Damn, I was gonna say that.
What were you thinking? Hangover?
No,
Wait, no. Was he in Hangover?
No, he wasn't in Hangover. What? No.
Old School.
Old School he was in. He was great in Old School.
He was hilarious in Old School.
Old School might be one of my favorite movies.
Mine too. Did we just become best friends?
We might.
Yes. You want to go do karate in the garage? Who comes up with this shit, man? I love it. Lou, you probably didn't watch shit like that growing up, right? What were you watching? Like dissertations and shit?
Watch what? What do you mean?
What did you watch growing up? Did you watch like lectures? Fucking...
No, I watched everything when I grew up. I watched all the sitcoms from like when I was able to actually comprehend what was going on.
And the sitcoms?
But I used to watch in the 80s. So I was born in 82, so I probably wasn't watching TV until I was like 4 or something like that. But like we had a bunch of movies too though. So we used to watch a bunch of like 80s movies, but they would have been new to us. But yeah,
oh, you had a movie house.
Watched them. Got my TV on.
You had a movie house?
Yeah. We had my pops. My pops had a VHS and a Betamax. And had a little collection of films. We used to watch those. And then we had like TV. It was like cartoons, and then all of the sitcoms. So I used to watch all the stuff. And then they used to have the reruns back in the 80s of the stuff that came out in like the 60s, or the 50s or whatever. So Twilight Zone, but then like the new stuff like Quantum Leap, I used to watch that.
Did you grow up in a 5 Heartbeats household?
What you mean? What's the 5 Heartbeats household?
Like my household, a household with a whole lot of 5 Heartbeats playing all the time.
Nah, we used to watch because I mean we had so much stuff going on.
We did too. Routines and singing parts. I had to be held accountable for my parts. I was JT.
Nah,
y'all didn't do that.
Nah, we didn't do that. But it was like different houses. So it was like my dad's house and then my mom's house. So my mom's house was a little bit more, I guess, normal. Where my dad's house was like real all over the place. But like intellectual. So my dad, I used to watch and like be a part of a bunch of martial arts stuff and instruments and like computer stuff and stuff like that. And my mom's house was like regular stuff like Cosby Show and stuff like that. But like my dad house, I used to watch like Coming to America like religiously. I used to know it by heart. So it was different. It was just because it was 2 different households. So my mom and my dad split when I was like 4. So and jumping in between households, it was just 2 different cultures. My mom was in the hood. My dad was in the suburbs. So it was like just going back and forth between 2 different cultures. And in between, we had all the martial arts and stuff like that. But like at the karate school, we used to play like Lean on Me and Daz Effects and NWA.
Your dad like Daz Effects?
Not the karate school, he play NWA. Yeah, he loved Daz Effects.
That's fire.
Yeah, man. So I probably got all my hip hop from my dad, and then my mom was the one playing all of the jazz. My dad played all of the orchestra and the hip hop and the world music, and my mom played like the jazz, the soul, and like the funk. But my dad used to play Parliament too, so my dad had Parliament. So 2 different worlds. So I got the best of both worlds, I guess I could say.
Was your dad a musician of any sort?
Yeah.
He was?
He played the African drums. Yeah.
The African drums?
Played African drums, the djembe, but he played all kinds of drums. So he played djembe, which is African. He played the congos. He played the tablas, which are Indian, which you kind of play with your fingers. He played the bagpipes. He played the sitar. I think he played the sitar. I don't think I've ever seen him play the sitar, but it was always a sitar in his house with a little stand.
Where in the world do you learn how to play bagpipes at, man?
That's what I was
Your
gonna
dad
ask.
James Bond?
Bagpipes.
Your dad is James Bond, bro.
He was like the Black James Bond. He could definitely. He didn't drink, but he was definitely no martinis. But he definitely categorized. He was a Green Beret, Special Forces. That's how we learned all of the military stuff and martial arts. Then all of the cultural stuff. So all the African culture, all that stuff. So he definitely could have went down as James Bond.
He was really intentional with the teaching.
I mean, it was just there. You know, it was like that's where you were born, and your dad just happened to do this, and it's all this stuff. So as you're in the house, that's what I said. It was like two different cultures. My mom's, with my mom, it was regular. With my dad, it was very asymmetrical and irregular. So at my mom's house, you would like stumble upon, National Geographics and some jazz records, right? My dad, you would stumble upon like an antique sword and then some like books on meditation and then like a collection of like the James Bond films or Rambo on Betamax or something like that. Just random stuff, but that was the house,
Bro.
So you didn't have to really teach anything. It's just that's where you were.
Yeah, maybe you can answer this for me because I never knew this. What exactly do you have to do to become a Green Beret? Like what is the process? I don't even know. Like all I know is you got to at least go to the Army first, right? That's the base, right?
Yeah, for Green Beret, yeah, it's the Army.
Okay, so it's basically levels up from entry level armed forces.
Yeah, somebody could speak better to it that's actually been through it than me, but I have been a part of the military tradition through my dad and then going to do all these shows around the world on military bases. But Army is kind of like base level. Then I think it's Rangers is like the one that's like the next up. And there's different jobs and different stuff that you do in whatever armed forces groups you're in. But like the Army, I think is regular Army enlisted. Then it's like Rangers. And to become a Ranger, you got to go to Ranger school and do all this like crazy stuff. And I think the step up from Rangers is, I don't know if it's Delta Force. I think Delta Force might be the Marines. Let me see. Or let me see. What is Delta Force? Because that's a real thing. Remember that movie with Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
Delta
Yeah.
Force? Let me see.
Because I look at Green Berets like they're part of like small little teams. And they get called in only when it's time to really fuck some shit up. Oh, you want me to call the Green Berets?
They're part
Okay.
of the Army, the United States Army.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Delta Force is Army, and then Green Beret Special Forces is Army too. Let me make sure, just so I'm clear. Yeah, so Green Beret is Army too. U.S. Army Special Forces is called Green Beret, and then I think above Green Beret is Delta Force, and then the thing is like it's just different schools that you go through, and you have to submit. You have to go through like special training, and I think you gotta just kind of be like a badass, but then you also got to be like super smart. So it's like the elite of the elites. I think the most elite that the U.S. just armed forces as a whole has is the SEALs.
Navy SEALs.
And then, but they all got their own thing. Like I forgot what the Marines are. I think it's recon for Marines, and then Delta Force for Army. I forgot what Navy. Navy's the Navy SEALs. I think, or maybe Air Force might be recon. But anyway, it's just levels of like intensity, levels of training, levels of specialization, and then they tap you when it's different groups, or they might pull people from different groups to form like different little units for different things. So they might have a person from one group rocking with a person from another group, depending on what the deployment and the mission is. So I mean, it's super interesting. You know,
it's definitely exciting on that level right there. It's exciting on that level.
Yeah, but it's hard though.
Every kid wants to be, or have at one point thought to themselves, "Damn, I would love to be a Navy SEAL." Or, what's the other thing that's really cool to be? Not necessarily Marine, Navy SEAL. Oh, whoever flies the fucking Mach, the jets that go like Mach, whatever, and drop and shoot missiles. Y'all ever watched Iron Eagle? Mm-hmm. Classic movie. You know, I wanted to be a fighter pilot after I saw that movie. Chappie!
Recon is the Marines, and there was a great movie. Did you guys ever see Heartbreak Ridge?
Yeah, Heartbreak Ridge was dope with Mario Van Peebles and Clint Eastwood.
That was about the Marine Corps Recon.
Yeah, that was a real good movie.
I hit a point.
I saw that movie mad times.
I hit a point as a kid where I just started having a problem with Mario Van Peebles movies. I don't know what was going on. Every time he was in a movie, I just
turned it off.
I think my father may have cracked too many funny jokes or something. I don't know. It's just Mario Van Peebles. That was just it's like watching a boxer wearing ponies. Anytime a fighter got in the ring wearing ponies, nah. I don't know what that was.
My dad used to put us through some of that training. Some of the, like, I guess the training that he would have to go through in special forces and stuff like that.
Like
so
what?
We would go on these long marches. Like we would go out to like this, basically like a campground area, but a little less. Like it was way out. I think it was called Rock Island. It's either Rock Island or Skull Island. But anyway, it was this massive like wall, and so we would rappel down the wall. I never did that. I never rappelled. I was too young. But we would shoot. We would march. We would camp, do training exercises and stuff like that. Like it was super like military. And all of my family. Well, my grandfather was in the armed forces. My dad was a Green Beret. My brother was a Marine. My aunt was in the Air Force. And I say it now. It probably wasn't the case back then, but if I'd have known now, I would have probably definitely wanted to be like Navy intelligence. Like that's really? Probably what I would have wanted to be in. Yeah, knowing now, but now I'm too old.
My dad went to the Army and came back even more of a lunatic. That's what he did to me, man. You know how I learned how to swim? He threw me in the water. I'm flopping all around thinking I'm about to die. And he's just standing there. Relax. Calm down. Now, see? You know why your ass ain't drowning? You know why your ass is swimming? Because you don't want to drown. That's what life is about. That's life. He threw me in like 4 feet of water, bro. I was traumatized and enlightened at the same time.
How old was you?
Shit, I can't remember exactly how old, but I know I was too old to be that baby that just floats automatically, and then like too young to really be intelligent enough to know that I'm in 4 feet of water. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was it. Like this man is trying to kill me. And it wasn't like
it was in the pool.
It was at the pool. Or it was at the pool. It wasn't like, you know, It wasn't like a nudge. It was just like I wasn't looking. Next thing you
He
know,
just threw you.
boom, up and down. Pow.
You learned how to swim, though.
Did you learn how to swim?
I mean, you know what's crazy about that, man? Like, I was flopping around, and I was like, I really just got tired of just doing all this flopping and panicking. And then when I stopped panicking, I just started doggy pedaling. And it really was just like, it was the only thing to do was just go the way of the water. But you can't really explain that to somebody that's like in a state of panic. It's amazing, like what the things that your body will just adapt to. It was kind of like that with riding a bike with me too. Like all while I was scared, I couldn't do it. As soon as it was just like, fuck it, I'm like 30 years old now. I ain't scared no more. I could finally ride a 2-wheel.
My dad was a scuba diver, so we used to have like scuba tanks and masks and stuff around the house. And then he would go and have to do like his certification. I think it's NAUI is what it's called. But yeah, it was this like scuba diver store somewhere around Chicago, and I had a big pool in the back, and he used to train people back in that pool. But he was like a proper like scuba diver dude.
Yeah, because they had to go. They had to be able to dive in and then retrieve something from off the floor of the pool that's the weight of a human body and bring it back up to the top of the water. Ain't that Navy SEALs?
Well, he was Special Forces, and I don't know how much. I'm sure in all of those high level units, there's a certain level of swimming that you have to have, because who knows what mission you gonna be deployed in, so they want you to at least be proficient. I think that's why I don't know if that's why a lot of people flunk out of Navy SEALs, because it is like a heavily water kind of based thing. And then I was watching this thing about the Coast Guard too, where to be in the Coast Guard, you would think that you would just be swimming all the time, but really they just want you to be just kind of like you just be able to swim. You know what I'm saying? Like not jump in the water and die type situation. They showed them doing boot camp, and they actually gave some of the people who couldn't really swim that well, they gave them like flotation devices, which is interesting. But anyway, I don't know if my dad was doing scuba because of Special Forces specifically, but by the time we was born, he was out of the military, but he was still like, that was like his thing, scuba diving.
Yeah,
I never learned though.
It must have been the Army, because my dad fucking loved to swim. He'd do all that shit. Go way out. If it's like if it's like the beach or something, he gotta go way fucking further than he's supposed to be. He gotta go do that type of shit. Lupe, my daddy will beat your daddy's ass. All right, I'm just letting you know now. Don't be trying to act like your daddy for more interesting than my daddy. My daddy.
He might have.
My daddy could fight. I know your daddy knows some shit. My daddy do too. How old is your daddy? I don't even know how old my daddy is. He up there.
my father passed away when he was 54. So he passed away right around my second album. And
were y'all close?
like he was just super young. I mean, yeah. Like I find myself doing everything that my dad did, just either at a different level. Like I always say, the person I'm in competition with is my dad, because my dad he was just, the array of things that he could do and had mastery over, like, are astonishing. So that's why people can't really, like, you couldn't sit in the room with my dad and not be like jaw dropped, because, or intimidated to the point, or you thought he was crazy. Like it was one or the others. It was either complete utter respect or like, this nigga's crazy. But he had his hands on so many different pots and pans in the kitchen of life.
I know that feeling, bro.
I've never met any person like my dad, and that's not just on some. That's my dad, because we had beef. toward
that's
the end, we had some serious
that's a part
beefs.
of it. That's a part of it.
But
Isn't it psychologically
But,
we all are competing with our father at some level? I mean, that's the guy who raised you, who told you certain things, who you argued with constantly growing up.
His dad is different.
No, I'm not saying
I'm
not saying he's different, but I think psychologically we all do that. Like we always want to beat your dad.
My dad used to push me. He used to push me, but I never really felt like I had to live up. I had to live up to something that he was. You know what I mean? Like, it was obviously the caveat is, like, take what they teach you, take the tools they give you, and elevate it, and just continue to evolve. But some people, man, you like that, Lou, and fucking Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't fucking hang around them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially Tariq. You know what I mean? I can hang with Tariq once every 6 months. I'm not sitting in a room with Tariq all the time. Who the fuck wants to do that? He knows everything, bro. He knows everything. He's always dressed really nice. He's always on time. He's never behind the 8 ball for anything. You know what I mean? He just fucking can rap really well whenever, no matter who's fucking getting killed by the police. He just got bars on deck. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are like fucking do-gooders. That's what I call them. So now you're shining some light, Lou, on a lot of things. You're putting it in perspective for me now. Like, this makes sense to me. Like, I never knew this, what you're telling me. It makes sense. Makes total sense.
yeah, my dad is less about competing with him, Tom, and it's not like this psychological. Again, it's not like, oh, that's my dad. It's not like some Oedipus complex type situation. It's just that when you look at his list of things that he's achieved, and to know he achieved that, when he was 54, right, when he passed. And so in 54 years, he's achieved maybe 6 lifetimes worth of stuff. And so for me, it's like, I gotta do that now. Like, I gotta put up, that's what my name means. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what that Jaco name, my last name, means. It means that these are folks who they're polymaths, and they just stack up life points, right? So fortunately, I was able to do a lot of stuff in my 20s and in my 30s, and I feel like, yeah, I got a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got that, I got this, I did that, I was GQ Man of the Year, I was this, I was that, I had a record deal when I was in high school. Like, I was bop, 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 bop. Like, I'm all kind of when I was in high school. But I've achieved, I was on the varsity, I was this, I was that. And it's just, that's all my dad. That's all me. Like, my dad was an engineer. My dad was, a martial arts master. My dad was a special forces Green Beret. My dad was, a philosopher, and he was this, he was that. So for me, he's an entrepreneur, had stores and businesses and stuff like that. So
you ever feel pressure?
I felt fear. Fear. My dad was terrifying.
No, I mean, like, just pressure to live up to whatever expectations you set in your mind, based off of looking at your dad. Your dad didn't just dabble in things. He was like, he mastered things, many things.
Yeah, he mastered it. Yeah.
So it's like, how did you ever feel pressure, or was it just like another day at the office? Like, this is just, I'm moving with a purpose at a young age, just because I've seen it at such a young age.
Yeah, I think it's similar to kind of how your dad threw you in the pool, right? Like, it was preparation for everything that's going to come next. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of your life. So it's those, like, yeah, it's going to be, my dad's like, I'm going to show you amazing things that the normal man can't do, but I'm going to prepare you for it, to let you know that it's possible. And I think that comes from the military. Because the military puts you in a position of great terror for you, but you're in absolute safety at the same time, at least in basic training. Like, they'll put you up on this gigantic big ass wall and be like, jump, or rappel down, and you just sit up there terrified, but they're constantly telling you, like, but you 100% safe. right? Like you're not finna die up here. Well, the only thing that's finna die is your fear, right? And so that fear killing and that preparation is just once that's out the way, and if you can get that out, like my dad used to set us at the end of the dojo, the training hall, and it was this big door, and he would sit on the other side. He was an archer, so he this is, I think we talked about it, things called Robin Hoods for archers, where they could shoot a bow, arrow back into the back of the arrow that they just shot, like shoot it in the exact same spot, and it would just hit in the back of the other arrow. They call those Robin Hoods. If you go to like archery, if you go to like we had this archery practice hall we used to go to. They used to have them like hanging up on the wall that people that shot Robin Hoods. But anyway, my dad was an archer. He would sit us at the end of the room and then shoot arrows at us. Right? They would be like taped at the end, but he would just whip these arrows at us, and we were supposed to catch them. You know. And so I remember doing this when I was like 4 years old.
Catching arrows.
You know what I'm saying? Like before I was in school. Yeah.
Bro, you were catching arrows at 4 years old. How can you not win a Grammy? The fuck?
I mean, but exactly. So that when you're doing stuff like that, you just kind of like, you know, what else is you're not easily entertained.
Well,
you know, by things. Things don't seem as hard as they may be presented to be.
Well, on a more serious note, I'm sorry for saying that my dad beat your daddy's ass.
He probably could.
Royce, I might line
but nobody was invincible.
I might line my kids up with a bow and arrow and start shooting them and tell them to catch it. How you think that'll fly?
Yeah, and you be going straight to jail. I see. We'll be bailing you out. It'll be the Lupe and Royce bail fundraiser charity hour for Tom Frank.
See, I was playing. I didn't even know. I could have been playing. And I could have got a motherfucking bow and arrow shot through the screen.
You know, one of the first places I traveled to out of the state we went to Detroit. And
you and your dad?
I forgot how old I was. He took the school. We had a school in Detroit. We had a Christ school in Detroit, a sister school. So our school in Chicago was called Tornado. So we had a sister school in Detroit.
Where was that at? You remember where it was at?
Oh, man. It was in like Detroit proper, if I'm not mistaken. But this was a while ago, like long time ago. And what we used to do, we go up there and do school visits or like tournament visits, and then that school would come to Chicago. But the difference was that school in Detroit was like super hardcore. Like they fought with real swords, and like the students, it was the same way. It was a Sensei Bill, who was the main sensei, and then his wife, and then all their kids, and then all their students, and their kids were absolutely ridiculous. Like the daughter went and beat up the whole football team type shit, like just antics and feats of just like martial arts destruction.
That's what I want my daughter to do.
And I remember they came down to our school for a visit, and we do these big like seminars and classes, and we had to fight them.
They just kicked your ass.
And so we was used to fighting each other. Yo, they was like really hitting us, which was the thing. It was like, yo, you supposed to pull your punches. They like, no, we don't do that in Detroit. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got roots in Detroit too. We used to go up there in Michigan, and we used to go visit that school, and then we did a paintball competition thing when we was up there, like a school paintball, you know, tracking each other down, shooting each other. It was kind of crazy. But anyway,
man, you remember Ernie Reyes Jr.?
Yeah, and Ernie Reyes Sr. Both of them.
When you see people like that, that's that skilled and athletic, can they fight?
I'm sure they can fight. I mean, everybody can fight.
No. You know what I mean.
Can they fight everybody and win?
You know what I mean. Like,
they can fight. I mean,
you look at Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's like okay, the dude is very limber. He's basically a ballerina. You know what I mean? Like the way that he throws his kicks is like poetry. But like, can he fight though? Can he fight?
He was a dancer. I mean, he could whoop somebody's ass, like for sure. Like you don't learn the martial arts and not know how to fight. But does that mean you can win and not get beat up in every fight that you go into? No. That's why I was like, yeah, your dad might have been able to whoop my dad ass. But that's not what they're like for. You know, they're not like fighters. Like I'm not a fighter. Like I'm not that. Like I know how to fight. I know I'm not going to win every match that I fight, but I know how to kill people. So that's the other side of it. Is like I'm also a killer. So it's like, yeah, we just gonna not do none of that, and I'm gonna just focus on these forms and this meditation. But you got other folks like the school in Detroit. They were fighters, so they were fighting full contact matches, karate, beat people up, the whole shit. And it was like, I'm not really about that life. But Ernie Reyes Jr., Ernie Reyes Sr., you know, they were in The Last Dragon together.
Of course. And don't ever call yourself
ever
call yourself a killer to a kiter, nigga. I'm a kiter. You ever heard of that? I'm a killer who fight. You know what I'm saying?
You're a kiter.
So you gotta watch how you say. You gotta watch how you talk, bro. This Detroit. Know what I mean? Just don't slip that in on me and shit, man. I was intimidated as hell.
So
I'm also a killer, right?
Yo,
now you're a fucking intimidating
you
guy,
know the
man.
Scene?
Like, I'm also a killer,
What?
right? So what I do is I just stay away from that.
My daddy taught us how to kill, man, and that was was like a that side of the martial arts too, where it's like, yeah, I don't want to kill people though,
bro.
If you got it,
you swear you so fucking mild mannered and shit. You act like a lunatic, bro. You act like a psychopath a little bit sometimes. I wouldn't piss you off. I wouldn't piss you off unless I was ready to go there. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, let me fuck with Lupe today. Nah. You way too fucking cerebral.
Yo, do you remember the scene where Ernie Reyes Jr. and Ernie Reyes Sr. appeared in The Last Dragon
together at the same time?
Together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
little trivia.
It was the Sho Nuff. It was the Sho Nuff. It was the fight scene with Sho Nuff and all them. See, when I say can't fight, I really mean that. Like Sho Nuff could not fight, bro. It was irritating. It was irritating the shit out of me, dog. It was irritating.
You mean like you could tell that he was just an actor who they might have taught a couple moves and threw him up on screen? Is that what you're saying? Now I don't know if the actor who played Sho Nuff wasn't professionally trained in the martial arts. I don't.
Let me tell you something.
But
and I'm not professionally trained in the martial arts. I'm professionally trained in watching martial arts movies. And I'm telling you right now, that nigga is not a professional that's trained in the martial arts. He could not fight, bro.
Who, Ernie Reyes
Those
Jr.?
Kicks. No. Sho Nuff.
Oh, okay.
The kicks was like stiff. The punches was slow. You know what I mean? He was just,
yo, I got a question about Sho Nuff, right? Where would you put Sho Nuff in the pantheon of black villains?
Oh, he up there.
Is he in your like top 5 or like top 5 black movie villains?
He could potentially make my top 5. If I remember Sho Nuff. I don't always think of Last Dragon, and I love that movie. Last Dragon is a sleeper. But yeah, Sho Nuff is up there, bro. I know he's up there because he had me pissed off for that whole movie. I was so fucking mad at Sho Nuff, bro. I wanted his fucking soul on a platter, man. I'm like, Leroy, why don't you just fight? Get the glow. When he got the glow, man, I almost cried when he got the glow.
Yo, when Sho Nuff got the glow, I was terrified.
Yeah, when he got
the
glow, I thought he was about to take over the whole fucking Harlem.
I was like viscerally scared as a kid. Yo,
dog, he had already went and disrespected the man's mama, parents, and they pizza place. Threw his little brother in the garbage can. He had pizza all in his afro. You know what I mean?
Yo, I think Timac, who actually played Bruce Leroy, is on Clubhouse.
Is he?
If I'm not mistaken. I think so. I think that might have been the rumor.
I wonder how he would act if I called him Bruce Leroy.
I mean, it's his claim to fame. That's the what?
You know, I find that everybody doesn't embrace. I've seen Wesley Snipes one time and called him Nino. He didn't like that too much.
I remember. We remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was the same though.
And JT. JT was there too. He ain't like it too much either. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yo, the scene, for people who want to know, the scene of Ernie Reyes Jr. and Ernie Reyes Sr. together was the fight scene at the end with Sho Nuff's crew, Bruce Leroy's crew, when they fought at the disco.
That was at the end?
And it was kind of, it wasn't like the end, but it was kind of like toward the end. It was before the glow fight. It was when they was in the disco.
Mm-hmm.
So remember the little short white dude had the theater, like where they did, I found a place, finally found that place. Yeah. There's a scene where Ernie Reyes Jr., because remember they locked him in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was able to bust out the closet. And then he went down, Johnny, no! And then he did the Bruce Lee thing. Mm-hmm. He's like, wah! And the dude that it's an Asian dude that he's fighting. And the Asian dude that he's fighting is his dad. So they actually fight each other in the movie. And remember when Johnny runs up and he catches the dude in his hands and he does the backflip.
And he
flips him out of his hands, he does a black flip and he kicks him. That whole routine is like him and his dad. If I'm not mistaken. For people out there who are experts on the film and the trivia, let me know if that's the case, if Ernie Reyes Jr. was actually fighting.
I thought Ernie Reyes Jr. came out and was like pretending like he was just like a little pup for that moment, like, you know, like he did like some little cute little moves and then he just turned it up.
Yeah, because he was only like 10 or 12 or 13 at that point, right?
Yeah.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yeah, I can't remember how old he was, but he was little.
He had to have been, because
I didn't want no smoke with him.
I think that was his signature phrase. Remember he's in that show Sidekicks?
Mm-hmm.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
That show got me in a lot of fights in school.
What, Sidekicks? Mm-hmm. Grown Ernie Reyes Jr. was in Surf Ninjas.
Grown Ernie Reyes Jr. is like all cut up and shit, right?
Yeah, he was kind of swollen, cut. Pretty boy.
Come on, man. Grow down, bro. Grow down. Yeah, Sidekicks.
He was who we wanted to be, though.
Sidekicks.
Kids,
I remember one time Sidekicks. I was at the bus stop, and for whatever reason, I felt a sudden urge to stick up for somebody that I didn't really even know that well. To a high school kid, my brother walked up and was like, "Yo, he was like, get off of him. That's my brother." And the dude was like, "I understand you taking up for your brother. He got a big mouth though." And then my brother was like, I got him. He, like something. And then he looked at me and was like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, who is you? What you just defending everybody now? I'd never forget that. He was so mad at me. And now that I think about it, the only reason why I was sticking up for people at the bus stop is because I've been watching too much Sidekicks. I was already a safety, you know what I mean? And this is literally none of my business, you know what I mean? Like, I should have kept my mouth shut.
Wait, what you mean you was a safety?
A safety patrol?
What's that mean?
Oh, yeah, so we, like, I would have to come to school.
You was a cop?
Yeah, I would have to come to school.
Royce the 5'9" was a cop?
Absolutely.
I was a safety patrolman.
I would come to school early, and I get like an orange belt. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I wanted to do it is because I seen them in there drinking fucking hot cocoa with marshmallows. I wanted some. So I went and got the orange belt. So what I would do is I would stand on the corner and I would make sure I would cross everybody, make sure everybody got across the street safe. Yeah, so I was kind of like a cop, and I dare a rapper to come up to me and say it in my face. I dare anybody.
Royce,
call me a cop.
This is the first thing.
Call me a cop.
I can.
Call me a cop. I'm gonna go Lupe Fiasco on your ass. I'm a kiter.
Royce, I was also a patrolman.
Not from Al Qaeda. I'm just a kiter, huh?
I was also a patrolman.
You were.
I wore the orange belt, and I did it because you got out of school a little earlier. So me and my buddy Curly would get out early, and we'd have to call the buses. The bus would come up. You'd run into the office, say bus 13's here, or whatever.
You got a buddy named Curly who used to get out early? Fuck, man, you
Curly.
So cool, man.
You can use.
Did you ever get bumped up to captain though? I had the big ass badge on my belt.
I got fired because I forgot to call a bus one time.
You lost me.
I forgot to call a bus one time, and we went to the basketball courts early, and we started playing, and the whole school.
How you get fired from a job you ain't even getting paid for, man?
Wait a minute, though. Like, how that was your only job, right? To call the buses. How do you just completely skirt the entirety of your job?
It's not like you. It's not like you had responsibility like me, the captain safety, who had to assign everybody to different corners. You ain't even had to do that shit.
I missed one bus. And the lady
You
came.
can't miss a bus, man. You can't miss. I would have fired you too, man. They did the right thing.
She came down to the basketball court. She dragged us all the way back to the office by her ears. That's why my one ear is bigger than the other ear.
So you're right. Hope you learned something.
I was never in law enforcement in any capacity.
We know.
You call that law enforcement, the patrolman?
Yeah, he called that.
My dad.
He called that law enforcement
Man,
compared to what he was. He was SWAT team training at 7 years old.
Fair enough.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say about my dad, because it's just like, yo, my dad was a super.
Keep it coming.
Yo, my dad, he was actually deputy state. I think at a certain point in the 80s they would allow like regular citizens to become like, they would deputize them, and so I think he was either state police or like state, like sheriff or something like that. But he had like, I remember he had this bag that was like his police bag. So yeah, my dad was like a deputy something.
Yeah,
Damn.
they thought he was a regular citizen.
Damn.
Yeah, we're gonna deputize him. Yeah,
I wish I would have got to meet this guy.
Into.
Interesting
He ain't
character.
taking
Yeah,
you.
man, my dad was
he ain't
fantastic.
arresting you. He ain't taking you to jail. You ain't never seen Black Dynamite?
Yo, Black Dynamite has downright one of the funniest, when we talk about comedy
Bro.
and humor, right? Has one of the funniest characters of all time. In what's his name? What's the skinny dude?
Cream corn?
His name. What's his name? Cream Corn.
Cream
Well, who
Corn?
played?
Cream
it wasn't
Corn.
Eddie Griffin.
No, it was Tommy Davidson. Yes.
Tommy Davidson. Man, listen, that character is what. And I'm just gonna let you know, I've never seen Black Dynamite.
Oh, you gotta watch Black Dynamite, bro.
I've never seen Black Dynamite.
You probably wasn't interested in watching
But I
it.
have seen that scene.
Because you saw it and probably thought it to yourself, he's imitating my dad. But you nigga, you gotta watch the movie, bro. This nigga is literally the coldest nigga ever in the history of. You think Remo Williams is cold? And then you don't expect Michael Jai White to be so funny because he's never went the comedy direction in a movie, man. He's hilarious, bro. Please watch that movie. Please.
Is it like Pootie Tang?
No.
I watch Pootie Tang.
No, it's not
Okay.
it's not too stupid. It's not dumb. It's hilarious, bro. And very
Yeah, if that one Tommy Davidson scene where he was ordering breakfast is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and comedy is one of the things that I actually love. Shout out to Tony Baker. I love comedy, bro. Deeply.
I'm running things.
Like I was raised on Raw and
I'm
Eddie
running
Murphy. But
things. I know people who
that
talk
one
like
scene
that.
where he's ordering breakfast was hilarious.
Like if they say
But
something
in
to
Detroit,
themselves,
in real life,
if they say something to themselves that they really are feeling, that they'll sing it back to themselves. I'm running things. I'm running things. Hey, he's just in a room by himself. Talking about he running things. I'm running things.
I do that all the time. I sing all the time. One day I'm gonna record my entire day,
I'm singing.
and in that by itself is going to be an album. The whole that is going to be enough. I'm gonna just record myself through an entire 24 hours, and that'll be like 4 albums worth of quality material. I'm hilarious.
I think it should be one song. Boom, 24 hours. Do something
One song
completely
can't do it
different.
justice. He need different beats. He need a bunch of different layers.
So you know how they'll cycle through certain ads that might run for like a month,
Yeah.
and then it's gone, or a couple weeks, so you might see it a few times. So because of the random stuff that I'll be watching, like I'll watch
They don't know how to. They don't know how to
How
target you.
Do. Yeah, they don't. So
They don't know what you are because you have too many interests.
So it was this one video that kept one ad that would just pop up randomly, right? And I would be watching. It wouldn't matter what, I would be watching something, and then it would come on, right? And what I decided to do was, the beat for it was so just like driving, right? It's like, oh, this beat is the shit, right? And I didn't really cuss because I didn't say the T, but it was kind of cussing. But anyway, the beat was so dope. It wasn't dope in the dope way. It was dope in the stupid way. But it was just enough for me to start rap singing, freestyling.
Oh, this beat was stupid.
And it would only go for like 30 seconds, right? The length of the commercial. Or maybe even shorter than that, maybe like 15 seconds. So what I would do is grab my phone and start recording myself immediately. Every time that this beat, this commercial came on, and I would rap to this beat. And I probably got like 4 or 5 of them in my phone. And my friends know I'm a goofball. And I would just text it. I texted to them. Me just singing, rapping about the wildest shit ever to this YouTube beat. And I would challenge myself to catch it, do a freestyle, record it, and at 15 seconds, then I would send it to one of my homies. It's absolutely hilarious. I cannot send it to either one of you because I do not trust either one.
Nor should you.
Well,
Okay.
if you send it to me, you don't have to worry about me sending you nothing back. Because I'm not rapping to no beats.
If you
And I'll tell you what, whoever, do you know anybody at YouTube? Can you call them and tell them to please stop helping Benzino stalk me? Okay? Like everything on my fucking YouTube feed is Benzino. Benzino doesn't pay his rent. Benzino broke his finger. Benzino gets shot. Benzino goes on a rant. Benzino threatening Royce. Benzino doesn't like Eminem. Benzino has a fucking restaurant. Benzino's a dickhead. Benzino. It's like, bro, man. Let's move on. Let's move on, YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Well, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. Say what you want to say,
you and
Cletus.
Benzino are cool now, right? No, I'm just saying, you and Benzino are good, right? Y'all cool now, right? Because this January 20, what is it? 26th, as we record this today. 2021, and you and Benzino ain't found a way in the past couple weeks to sort these things out?
Bro, it ain't nothing to sort out. It ain't nothing to sort out, brother. Me and him ain't fine, and it ain't no problem. It just is what it is, partner. And, you know, I'm fucking around.
So what I should do then is I should make one of Lupe's 15-second raps be our show promotion, and I should name this episode Benzino.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't want to do that.
But what if it's some gems in there? What if it's some jewels?
I was kidding about both.
Ain't nothing in there.
It's cutting room floor stuff.
Trust me, you don't want none of this. There was one. Okay, so check this out. Royce, I might send you a snippet of this. Tom, I can't send this to you because I can't trust you. Because the way you be throwing up pictures of Royce and taking in, fan criticism and bringing it to the show.
Yeah, he gonna show up next week with a shirt with the rap on it.
Right. I know that you got bootleg wavy merch on right now. Even though it's authorized bootleg, it's Hey, I ain't no telling what you're gonna do with this intellectual property.
Can I call timeout? First of all,
what you mean? Like you want to wait? You want to stop the recording of the show to say something that you will edit out of the show?
I want to point out that the merchandise that I'm wearing is dead on.
Did you make that in your garage when we were doing karate?
I was given permission to do so because this guy couldn't send me a shirt, so he tells me to go make my own.
Yeah, you make shirts.
Now here's the other thing. I'm going to question.
Send you a shirt.
I need to ask you about this shirt though.
You know how much energy that takes?
It does. I live in Annapolis, Maryland, and I noticed that this is it's Navy.
We don't even know how to mail there.
It's Navy.
How do you mail there? Where are you at?
I think this would sell big time here because it looks like Navy, and you're using all like ocean-oriented stuff, nautical
Listen,
stuff.
bro, me and Lou, we both products of the Navy, all right? The Navy and Army. Rich in our lineage.
I live in the home base.
Get it together.
Navy.
My dad raised me with
Navy
a whistle
Seals. That was
around his neck, huh?
One of my favorite movies was Navy Seals.
Good movie.
Remember Navy Seals?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that one scene with the sniper?
Mm-hmm.
When he was like, God, He's like, please, God, come in, God. Come on, God. And the dude was like, your God cannot save you now. And then God shot his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because God was naming us. Anyway, God was naming the sniper.
Yes.
The dude was like, come in, God.
Yes.
That was an amazing movie.
Yes, it was.
Super violent, probably unbelievably off tone and racist.
Very violent.
Right now, but Navy SEALs was a fantastic film.
What was that movie that the Sylvester Stallone was in? I know I got to be more specific with my man Sly, but it was a very fucking violent movie, and it was fantastic. He was a hitman.
Oh, I remember that.
And Sharon Stone was in it. I also got to be more specific because he just had something for that Sharon Stone, but it was Sharon Stone, Sly. And he was killing people. He was like a hitman, but the way he was doing it was just like so masterful. I'm like hoping there's nobody walking around out in this world with those kinds of skills. A motherfucker who can just like program a bomb. You know what I mean? Like you pull up to your crib and hit the fucking code on your fucking to let yourself into your subdivision. Next thing you know, a bomb just blows straight into your car. Nothing, no shrapnel goes anywhere else. It's meant strictly for you. I don't want to know anybody who can do shit like that because I might try to hire them.
What was that called?
I remember back in the day when there was less awareness and regulation on like books, and my dad had these army surplus stores, and so I used to get all these books. So that's how I knew, and this the thing. I didn't know that nobody else really knew this. And that what I was talking about was like would get you on the FBI watch list. But for me, this was like normal, like book stuff and stuff that we had. So it was this book. There's the one book which you probably all know, which is the Anarchist Cookbook, which is banned, right? Mm-hmm. But there was these other books and manuals where they were talking about just different types of improvised explosive devices. We call them IEDs today. Mm-hmm. But it was like all the different ones that they had, like almost like a retrospective on what was made and what people were doing. And I think it was mostly stuff maybe from like the Cold War and stuff like that. So like assassination stuff. And they had one where it was a bomb that was in a chocolate bar. And when you bit into it, it broke the switch and blew your head off.
Now that's my kind of chocolate
bar.
And
I'm like 9 years old reading this book. Like, oh wow, that's how you can kill some. Oh, okay. So they can put a bomb just in the chocolate bar, and then when they bite into it, it blows up in the mouth and kills.
So you can't be Lupe Fiasco and have like a school bully. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like you're gonna be getting the Twix really soon. You keep playing with me. Oh man, you got the right one today, school bully.
Fun fact about Samuel L. Jackson. Did this happen yet? He's in the remake of The Last Dragon, and he's going to play the bad guy.
Who, Sho Nuff?
Yeah. Did you know this?
Samuel L. Jackson can't play Sho Nuff.
That's what it says here on his Wikipedia page. You don't think he could play this part?
Samuel L. Jackson is one of our great ones. He can do anything. I'm just saying. Damn.
He's on set right now making this movie, The Last Dragon.
Let him be an elder. Why he got to be the guy that got to spend the whole movie chasing people around kicking ass? Be an elder.
I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about a Last Dragon remake because the first movie is such a classic. Yeah. You know,
and it's like a
you
novelty.
Could just bring that back out. You know,
it's like a novelty. It's not like it was like huge actors in it. Like Vanity was probably the most famous person in the fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ooh, man,
it was just one of those novelty movies, like cult classics, man. Like you don't fucking play with that. And then Samuel L. Jackson is like literally bigger than the movie, and then they're gonna fucking redo the movie.
I like it.
Jeez.
Dun, 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 dun.
With no Vanity.
You know, I listened to the soundtrack.
Thanks.
The soundtrack came out on Motown. You can get the Last Dragon soundtrack to this day. It's amazing.
It is.
I think we talked about it on some wild episodes
you
ago.
especially did.
I love that soundtrack.
Yes, you really expressed that.
I grew up with it. I love it. When I'm back, when COVID is over and we go back to working out, I jog to the Last Dragon soundtrack.
But you can't.
All right. Well, next time you jogging, listen to the 5 Heartbeats too.
I don't know about that.
5 Heartbeats is incredible, man. I'm telling you,
It's
dog. Nobody should
incredible,
be in this.
but to run to?
You don't think so, Tom?
No, but to run to?
Yeah. Baby, stop running.
I need something
around.
faster.
Yeah. Man.
I work out to Rocky.
Yeah,
Rocky
they got
music.
bangers, straight up bangers on that soundtrack.
All right.
I work out to Rocky too. Rocky War by Vince DiCola, which I think is the theme from Rock. And my dad actually played that. We used to play it in the karate school. And I remember he used to say, like, why would they make such great music for such a bad movie? That was like one of his quotes, I think.
Oh my God. Well,
maybe it
we
wasn't.
disagree.
Your dad would think Rocky is a bad movie. This is all makes sense, bro.
I love Rocky.
How could Rocky be a good movie to him? It's a good movie to everybody but him.
Yeah.
He used to play that soundtrack like religiously. Like you would come to our house and
The Rocky soundtrack?
it would be on I think he had it on vinyl. And he would just play the Rocky soundtrack loud as hell. He would be somewhere doing something, and it would just be like.
You're like this guy can't even fight. He doesn't even throw his punches right. But this string progression is just immaculate.
I listen to that
Couldn't
soundtrack.
have wrote it better
I
myself.
remember him saying
I
that.
listen to that soundtrack a couple times a week. When I work out with the boys, I make them listen to it.
They went over the top. They went over the top with the way they scored it.
It was fantastic.
Man,
Who was that? Like Burt
Ridiculous.
Bacharach or somebody?
Vince DiCola.
Oh, Vince DiCola.
Vince DiCola. Yo.
So he's the
beastie.
one who wrote. Dun, 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 dun,
I don't know if he did that, but the music I'm talking about is from Rocky 3.
Oh, the Hulk Hogan one.
Yeah, that was the Hulk Hogan. That was Mr. T.
That one was bad.
That was the worst of all of them. Rocky 4 is the best one.
No, it was Rocky 4.
Rocky 4, the Russian one. That's the good one. Ooh.
Who did he
Rocky
fighting
4.
for?
Oh, 4.
Did he even fighting for?
Yeah, he fought the big Russian
Drago.
Oh, Rocky.
Did he fight Drago?
That was Rocky 5. That was fantastic.
And that Rocky 4 taught us a lesson. You know, I mean,
What was Rocky 4?
It was on Christmas Day. He fought in Russia, and remember, by the end of the fight.
Oh, I thought that was Rocky 5.
No, Rocky 5. No, Rocky 5 is Tommy Gunn. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And that's a street fight. That wasn't even they fight in the street. Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, it was a fantastic street fight.
Oh, it was a great street
I
fight.
might add.
But Rocky 4 is by far the best.
This is it.
Yeah, Rocky 4 was amazing. That Tommy Gunn, I tell you what, that guy's a real hooker. I'll tell you that.
Great song.
I just know that I'm bigger than him and I'm better than him. I just want my shot. I want my shot. You running from me, bad boy.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
The Lupe and Royce Show is a production of Say What Media.
Have you thought about hosting your own podcast but don't know where to start?
Working with Say What Media is like having your own personal producer, editor, audio engineer, and distributor, all in one place.
From equipment recommendations to engineering and distribution, Say What Media handles the boring details so you can focus on saying interesting stuff.
Get started at saywhat.media.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
Anything else on the docket that we didn't touch
We
upon?
haven't.
Tom,
We
that you
haven't
want the
touched.
wisdom?
We haven't touched anything yet.
Well, we touched plenty of things.
I wanted to get in.
Well, let's do lightning round, man. I got spaghetti to make.
I wanted to get into Hank Aaron died this week. That's kind of legendary.
Rest in peace, Hank.
Yeah,
Rest in peace to the
Rest in
legend.
peace, Hank.
a guy who broke probably the biggest sports statistic in the world, and he hated it the entire time.
Who hated it?
He did. He was miserable. He was getting death threats. I think I read somewhere. Yeah.
So hold on. And this, I watched. They gave a eulogy of him as well on Democracy
Okay.
Now. Shout out to Democracy
on
Now.
Hank Aaron.
Shout out to Amy Goodman. Okay, they always do like the memorial at the end, right? Of like who died and that. And she pitched it up, and I really kind of had a problem with this. And you doing the same
Tell
thing
me.
right now, where it was like you bring up Hank Aaron, how great he was, how much of an impact he was, and then the total second half of the eulogy is how racist the people were against him, how he got death threats, how he lived miserably, how he da 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 da. And I was like, why? Like, why don't you just talk about his great baseball career? And not to say that stuff didn't happen, but it's like, that ain't the last thing I want to hear about Hank Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you bring up him passing, the very next thing, once you get through his accolades, is how shitty his life was.
What is the stat?
Even
the counterpoint, though,
What's
is that he had to live through this. I mean, this guy broke Babe Ruth's record as the home run king. And the entire time he was doing it, as he kind of got closer and closer, I mean, he was getting the stat was the U.S. Postal Service gave him the most mail to a civilian in the country, and it was exclusively hate mail.
Well, I guarantee you, he was fucking enjoying every second of motherfucking breaking them records.
I don't know if he was.
Take it from a record breaker.
Even when he hit the breaking home run. There's a story from his.
I hit that motherfucker and go sleep like a baby.
Well, he hit it, and I mean, you guys remember this, right? When he was lapping third base, and the people from the stands came running out at him, and all his bodyguards immediately went to their guns because they thought they were coming to do something bad to him, and they ended up just coming and patting on the back. But all of the bodyguards talk about later, they were all ready to shoot. They thought these fans were coming out because of all the hatred that was going on, and white America did not want to see this black man break Babe Ruth's record, which was sacred.
Well, they better get fucking used to it, because it's happening. It's here.
It's been broke how many times since?
It's kissing you right in the face now.
Listen, man, Hank Aaron, rest in peace. Peace and condolences to the family. A true American hero who did amazing, great things in his field and in his sport. And that's how he should be remembered. Tom, can you please get the rest of your list? Because I really want to go make some spaghetti. I'm not trying to rush you.
I think he's done.
No, I got a long way to go here. We got to get the Z.
He wanted to point out that Hank Aaron died.
We got two things that are very important. Number one.
Shout out to Hank Aaron.
We got to get Zarko's review of the last episode. I thoroughly enjoy reading these.
Man, listen. You know what?
He puts a lot of effort into this. He's a big fan.
Listen, man.
From Switzerland.
You giving this man way too much shine. You making him a celebrity. He's gonna feel a certain way. He's gonna feel like he can tell us what to do soon. And I'm not here.
He's a very respectful person. He even came back and said that he thought the conversation that on the bars was excellent. Excellent. Last week.
What did he expect it to be?
He loved.
You trying to create a satire with this guy?
He loved the conversation on bars. He thought Lupe has many, many lines with very deep meaning, and it's great to hear him break them down one by one. And
gee, what do you know?
Yes,
you learn something new every. I didn't know you were that good with that pencil and that pen, there, Lupe Fiasco.
Hey, he's giving you a little props.
You never know what happens.
Royce, he thought you were.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what?
I'm going. You
yes, sir.
You was stalling, Tom. Tom. I don't mean to be on your head, but I'm just saying we need to get through this.
I think Tom has a question for me, Lupe. Okay, hold on.
It's your review. It's Z's review of you. That's what he's
Royce.
Hold on.
What?
Here we go.
Hold on. Give us a second, Lou. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Royce, this is a great dynamic emerges when your talk time is very balanced. He loved how participatory you were in last week's conversation, and you helped give very good direction in the episode. He loved your explanation of the right bars and verses were very fascinating. He thinks about the verses fitting the feel of the song, or that too much thought can kill the feel, gives a new perspective. So he thoroughly enjoyed that.
Tell him thank you. Thank you for those kind words.
Yeah,
thank
sometimes
you for those kind words.
it's nice to hear.
Yeah, those are real. Those are real. That's coming from a real place.
I'm failing
on
this note this week, but I manage this balance of the episode. You keep standing up for yourself, even though Lupe and Royce were giving you a very harder time than usual. For example,
I didn't give you a fucking listen. Now I'm finna start cursing. Now I'm finna listen. Now I'm finna start. Hold up. Pause. Time out. Now I'm finna get into Z's feelings.
Uh-oh.
Right? This is the Lupe and Royce show. This isn't the Tom, Frank, and Lupe and Royce show. This is the Lupe and Royce show. Tom is a small supporting cast. The show is me and Royce.
I think he switched some shit around behind the scenes, Lou. It's the Lupe and Royce show with the Tom pity party.
Hey.
It is. This feeling like a Tom, Frank pity party.
I am just reading.
Let's just call it the pity party.
The reviews. He also said,
we literally
you read the reviews that you picked.
We literally never give you a hard time. What are you talking about?
Never. I'll end it with this. He wrote a very nice long statement about me, but I won't read it because it's the Lupe and Royce show.
You're gonna read it.
He did say Aquamystic.
No, you're gonna finish. You're gonna finish.
Let me start at the top. Tom, you managed the.
Nah, you're not starting at the top. We still, it was at picking on Tom as usual, and pick up from there. We're not going back.
For example, they didn't want to talk about the inauguration or even made fun of it. They also kept trolling you about your integrity.
We just talked about the inauguration right now. Royce, didn't we just talk about it right now?
We literally just did the same thing. We didn't talk about it.
Managed to get the show back on track and find the balance when switching topics.
That's fucking awesome.
As I said.
Wait, Tom, I apologize.
Very
I apologize. Go back to when you said when you go back to where you said inauguration and we didn't want to talk about it.
I'm skipping over that point. As I said,
spaghetti.
They are not giving you an easy time to host the show, but you keep letting them do what they do. And in many times you even run with
Tom's not a host.
And to me,
Z,
Tom
let me explain this to you, Z.
Integrity of this
Tom
show.
Frank.
Boom.
Spaghetti. Listen,
man, I think Z is getting something confused.
Aquamystic was definitely one of the best shows to date. Let's just end it right there.
What's the fan question? Because we love the fans. We love them. All of them. Especially
we love the fans. We love the fans who love us.
The fans.
Not the fans who love Tom more than us. What? The fuck? Why is that a thing?
The fan
Tom, what's the question?
Which was sent by Z from his Reddit account about the show.
He has a Reddit account.
Is from Panda Bear, Too Cute for You, who asks, "What is your favorite?"
I know Panda Bear. Shout out to Panda Bear.
She makes comments a lot. What is your favorite fan experience, aka meet and greets? Clearly, Royce has a lot of these because there's pictures everywhere about his meet and greets.
Apparently, I didn't know that there were pictures everywhere. You're gonna
see, Zarko. You can't forget.
You're gonna be sure to bring those to the forefront.
Tom picks on us too. He brings people on the show that are wearing fake merch that expose my brother Royce of his past. And he just throws it in our face. So we subtly throw jabs back at Tom.
Subtly?
It's not we don't have a thing against
Lupe,
Tom, but I'm just saying.
You gotta let him know that it's not really my past. He's making it up. It's not really my past. I don't
really your past.
I didn't wear a flash shirt.
No, it's real.
And I don't write my raps around skulls. Okay? This is an attack. This is a smear campaign. This is an attack on my What kind of candles are those, man?
I don't know. That's quite a scene, though.
No, man. Nope.
Look, my favorite meet and greet story. Okay, my favorite meet and greet story. I don't know if I have a favorite. Oh no. My favorite meet and greet story is this. Shout out to my big bro, Ivan Jasper, representing that good music thing. He's one of the greatest barbers in the history of hip hop. An amazing skateboarder and just a fashionista. So much I had to drop him in a song, right? Fly as Ivan Jasper, right? I did a meet and greet in Chicago at this place. I think it was called The Basement. I don't think it's there anymore, but it was like this hip hop shop, whole thing. Did a meet and greet there. I can't remember for which album. It might have been The Cool. It was a line wrapped around the block. And this woman walks up. This little old lady not little old lady, but this little woman walks up and she's got on like a full on like overall, like Carhartt overall outfit, like 'cause it was super cold outside. And I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Right? imagine that you got all these young fans, and it's like this grown woman walks up, and she was like, I'm Mrs. Jasper. I'm Ivan's mother. So Ivan's mom was such a fan, she stood in line. I was like, why are you standing in line? You could have just came up and walked into you hip hop mama. So, again, hip hop moms are probably some of the most coveted women in the world.
Mild flex.
Moms better than anybody.
Mild flex. I got one.
So I was like, you could have came in, but to know she stood in line and came in and it was Ivan Jasper's mom, that was my favorite meet and greet.
I got one, and it's not going to be me talking down on everyone. How about this one? So I push my meet and greet to the end of the show. Keno hates when I do that, but I don't. I hate Keno, so it all goes together, right? I moved my meet and greet to after the show because I was getting to the show late. So after we finished the show, there was a very, very drunk, super, super drunk gentleman in the line. And when I noticed he was drunk, we were in the back of the venue somehow. We were talking, and he was with a girl that was talking to me, and I was talking to him, and I started just notice. I was kind of like triggered by his behavior because it just hit so close to home. So it's like we were talking, and he started talking about his car. I was like, "Oh, you drove?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, I drove." And he kept pointing at his car. He was driving like a fucking like Camaro or some shit. He was driving some shit with like some Hemis under the hood. You know what I mean? So I was talking to him, and then I got him to like toss me the keys. So I'm like talking to him. I got his keys. So then I hid his keys, right? And then I somehow figured out a way to use these smarts up here, and put him in an Uber and his girl. And I put them in an Uber and I sent them home. And I gave his girl his keys, and I said, if you give him these fucking keys, y'all can fucking die tonight, all right? So they made it home safe. And they ended up hitting me on the DM, thanking me for my concern and my heroic effort. And they were white.
Man.
I thought you were going to say that you gave him a ride home. But that's equally good.
Well, I wasn't in Detroit. I would have gave him a ride home.
I'm in Detroit. All right.
I definitely would have gave him a ride.
You know what, Tom? Tom, that was really heroic. That sounds like something that the Flash would do.
Were you wearing your Flash shirt when this happened?
If I had a Flash shirt, I probably would have wore it.
Yo, this is Lupe Fiasco, and I punctured my yoga ball with my sword the other day, because that's how I get down.
Now, this is Royce the 5'9", and I cannot top that because I don't have a yoga ball, I don't have a sword, and I haven't punctured anything in quite some time. What you got, Tom?
And this is Tom Frank. Happy 56th birthday to the legendary DJ Jazzy Jeff this week.
Yes.
That's our show for the week. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe or follow. Leave us a review and tell your friends to listen. The Lupe and Royce Show is a production of Say What Media. It's recorded and mixed by Claude Jennings. Our head writer is Lauren Sloat. I'm Tom Frank. And our theme music is by, who else? Lupe Fiasco and Royce the 5'9".